Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition with HR Mentorship Series. Today, we'll be looking at a very important topic, HR business partnering. We'll be looking at HR business partnering. Our facilitator today is someone who I've had the privilege of knowing for about 7 or 8 years, if I'm not mistaken. And it's always a privilege and pleasure when you know people and both of you grow and evolve together in your career journey. Her name is Chidiogo Agocha Ikena. And I'll just read for the benefit of some of the people on this call today who may not know her yet. Okay, I'll just read a brief about her profile, just a brief about her. All right. Chidiogo is a certified human resource professional with over 8 years quality experience that spans across industries like e-commerce, IT, telecommunication, manufacturing, and retail industries, with an intense focus on people, performance, productivity, and profits. I like that last point, profits, okay? She earned an MBA in Human Resources from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and she has held middle-level and senior HR positions in notable organizations. Chidiogo has helped organizations achieve their HR set objectives in talent management, compensation and benefits, performance management, people management, payroll management, recruitment, and compliance. She also holds the certification of SPHRI with the HRCI, United States of America, and she's an associate of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Nigeria. She's also an associate with the Nigerian Institute of Training and Development. Currently, she is the head of HR and administration at MedPlus Pharmacy. We don't take this for granted. With joy, I'd like to hand over control to Chidiogo as she takes over this conversation. Welcome, Chidiogo. You need to unmute, Chidi.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Yemi. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session. It's a pleasure to be having this learning series as we strive to grow and learn and develop ourselves in our HR career. So we're talking about HR business partnering this evening, and I want us to just start off by so we're running through what is a business partnering, who is a HR business partner, why HR business partnering, why should HR people start thinking about HR business partnering, why should we decide to turn our HR structure to that. Then I'll also talk about key skills required as an HR VP to succeed as an HR business partner, and the roles of a HR business partner. Then key areas of focus, what areas should you focus in as HR VP in your organization? Then various metrics you can use to assess and evaluate yourself. And then finally, how to scale your effort as a HR VP in your organization. Okay, so business partnering. Business partnering, it's the application of a functional expertise in one area of an organization to enhance job making in business units throughout an organization. So you've taken your expertise in one aspect, be it finance or HR, and then you're applying it, to the organization to ensure that the different units are aligned to the business strategy, irrespective of your own expertise. So, for example, you are a HR professional, So being an effective business partner means you're taking your knowledge of HR and taking your knowledge which you've gained of that business and ensuring that in all aspects of the business, be it in finance, in sales, in operations, in supply chain, you are able to enhance decision-making using your knowledge of people, your own knowledge of processes combined with the business knowledge which you've gained, to ensure that the business is able to harness the resources and its processes to ensure that the business flows properly and achieve maximum results. Who is the HR business partner? We usually see people have the job title HR manager, HR business partner. So there's a difference between both of them. The HR manager is more into the daily administrative, transactional activities of HR in an organization, and HR has come to that point in time where we've moved from being just transactional. We are still transactional, we still have to do the daily, day-to-day leave management, day-to-day recruitment, but we've now evolved to become more strategic in our processes, more strategic in the things that we do in our activities, not just totally pushing papers, but being strategic in terms of how do we now use data, how do we now use technology to drive and make our processes more efficient, and more effective for the business. So HR business partner is a strategic liaison between HR and the business. HR business partner marries the two together and not just, most times we see our HR people that are very disconnected from the business. So HR business partner is that person that understood, that's taking time out to, move away from the transactional to having doing much transactional activities, now becoming more in tune with the business and be a strategic partner to the business. By the time you understand the business, able to effectively contribute on the business table. HR business partner is an experienced human resource professional. So it's not just someone that's, with 1 year or 2 years experience. You have quality experience in HR, HR processes, labor law, things that, you're supposed, at that level of being a HR business partner, you should be able to have quality experience in HR in terms of HR processes, HR policies, was the labor law of the country you are operating in, saying, having those key knowledge, and you're working directly with senior management, with directors, with business leaders, to develop a strong HR strategy that supports an organization's growth and performance and objectives. So HR BPs work closely with the business leaders. They work closely with senior management. They are like the trusted advisors, to business leaders. I know, so like there's like a couple number of some CEOs that have like their own special HR advisor, their own HR business partner in their own company that they constantly work with to ensure that their people are aligned with their business strategy. Not that so let's say the business has plans of expansion to probably 50 locations, and the HR is running on its own race, not in line with business strategy. So once the business has set its goal or plans for the year or for a period of years, it's the HR VP responsibility to ensure that the HR path to achieve that business strategy is in line, is in sync, and everything, is already set in place. And they begin to, align their own people paths to the overall business strategy to achieve the main business objective. And with that, once your business leaders start seeing your input and your impact as a human resource business partner into the business, you will now start being invited into some kind of meetings or some kind of discussion, because you're seeing that, okay, it's not just about, cost, being a cost center, you're also contributing to even the profit and the bottom line of the business through your various strategies. why HR business partnering? Why was there a need? So the father of modern HR, Dave Ulrich, he came up with this HRBP structure and idea that HR that HR people should evolve from just being personnel managers to now becoming change agents in the organization, employee advocates, having strong business acumen and contributing to the overall business objective. The HRBP integrates the HR function with the business side of the organization, and HRBP employs the use of data. So data is a very key and very important thing to use by HRBP to make business decisions. So let's say you are losing staff, you're having a high labor turnover rate, and the business is wondering what to do. And as HR business partner or as a HR person, you cannot effectively make strategic decisions if you've not had your data of how many people have left in a period of 1 year, for example. What demographics are living? Are you having more females living, or are you having more males living? What category, what age range are those? What age range have been living? Is it more of the millennials, the Gen Z people? What category of age groups have been living? The people that are living, are they first year leavers? Are they people that live within the first month or the second month or the third month, or after 6 months of being in the business? So having that kind of data, and then the reason why they are leaving, having that kind of data would help you build a better and more effective retention strategy for the business. So let's say you don't have that kind of data. How would you now effectively address your business challenge of retention, your business challenge of ensuring consistency in the business, and this goes very well for those in the manufacturing industry, or those that have to produce things a lot. There's the challenge of labor turnover is that there's no constant, because you have to keep on training and training new hires every time you employ them, and that would mean that your products will not be consistent. Like the output will no longer be consistent, and that's why it's key for you to have like a very good retention rate, so that at least when you're able to retain quite a number of people, you're able to ensure consistency. So how would you have your strategy if you don't have a good data as a HRBP? I see a lot of HRBPs, a lot of HR people, they run away from data, they run away from analytics, and it's something that we should embrace as HRBP, because that's the future. We are already there at that point in time where data is key and data is everything. A good HRBP is able to deliver value to the organization. Why? Because you're using data to drive decision making. You are not making recommendations or decisions based off your emotions. You're using data, to show the leaders that, okay, this is what's happening, this is the trend, this is the pattern. If we don't go this way, this is what will happen. It's not just emotion, it's data, and just seeing it that, okay, this is what's happening in the real world. This is what's happening with us, and you're able to make, good and effective decisions. In times of change and disruption, the strong HRP will ensure that all HR activities are aligned with the line manager's priorities. COVID was a perfect example. COVID came and then disrupted everything that we know it as it was, and at that point, that really showed, the very good and importance of having a very good HR system or a very good HR structure in your organization. So then you see a lot of HR people trying to think and strategize even their recruitment processes. Before COVID, we were like, we can never have virtual interviews. It cannot happen. The person must come physical for all the different levels of interviews. But COVID came, and at HRBPs, we had to be strategized and then introduce virtual interviews. And now we even have virtual workplace where people have resumed and are working for years and have never met their colleagues, and they are in the same country, because that's kind of disruption that that came up, and as HRBP, you're able to ensure that, okay, HR activities did not stop. It still went on. We just had to innovate, find new ways, how to now make the use of technology and build up more efficient technology. Right now, there is now like an outpour of Zoom, outpour of different online platform that you could use to even manage your remote teams like Slack and Trello and all that. So as HR business partner is the way forward for all HR professionals. Don't just stick to just being pushing papers, just the basic transactional HR. Evolve and become more strategic. Get involved with your business. Get closer to your business leaders. Get closer to your operational leaders and try to understand your business. Whatever industry you find yourself in, try to understand the supply chain of that business, the operations of that business. Where do we buy from? Where do we stock from? Who are our competitors? Who are your suppliers? Who are your peers in the industry? That would and then when you come to the table and they're discussing, hearing you say those things, they would like look at you as someone that really knows and is very interested in the business. So key skills required to succeed as a HR business partner. So to succeed as a HR business partner, in your organization, there are quite a number of skills that we are required to have to succeed. First off, data literacy. So HRBPs must love data. I said it before, quite a number of HRBP people did run away from basic Excel, and that's something that we should embrace. Using data, you should know how to play with data. You should know how to understand data, interpret data, collect data, create data, play around with data. Data is everywhere. Data is abound. Anything that you want to solve, any initiative that you want to bring aboard, data is available for you, everywhere for you to make use of. So as HRBP, we should be able to even create a dashboard. I remember the first time I was asked to create a dashboard very early on in my career. I created that dashboard. And that was how I used to learn how to plot graphs on Excel, how to do so many things on Excel. And I'm like, okay. And then that kind of and that was what kind of helped me grow, because I fell in love with data, being able to play with large set of data, complex data, and then work on it and then build the dashboard out of it. Secondly, that we should have business acumen. Don't separate yourself from your business. If you're in the retail industry, whatever industry you find yourself, understand that business. Go and sit down with your business leader and say, okay, I have this thing. How do we make sales? What is our cost of sales? How do you determine cost of sales? How do we determine our gross profits? How do we determine our profit margin, our EBITDA? All those things. What makes us tick? What's our competition? What's our business? Understand your business. You have to understand even the risks involved in your own business. Having that strong business knowledge. Don't just separate yourself. That's why you see most CEOs, they will call CFO, they will call operations lead, and then they will leave HR aside, because they're like, what does HR want to say? If not hire and fire, and what else? So, but because because you have not evolved as a HR person, you've not tried to immerse yourself into the business. As you can go out of your way, go out of your office, spend time in your business, spend time in the operational areas, so you can understand where you are. When you understand the business you operate in, you're able to contribute much more as a HR person in the organization. The third skill that's required as HR business partner is people advocacy. As HR person, you must be someone that is, that advocates for the people, and not just advocating. You should be able to, stand up to when an employee is doing the wrong thing, even no matter how top level the person is. So it's not just advocating. You should also be someone who also who who also speaks up when things are going wrong in the organization, and being and ensuring that things are properly aligned. Because sometimes I've experienced situations where there are cases between like a line manager and an employee, and line manager that, okay, no, this person, he must go. I want him sacked and all that. And as a HR person, you're coming from the point of trying to analyze what the person did, and then what are your own policies as a business saying, and then what is labor law saying in terms of what it is that has been done in the past on that same issue, and you're trying to advise the line manager that, okay, this thing that I want to do, if we did like this now, this person can decide to sue us, and if he sues us, this and this and this and these are the things that business will suffer based on that. So as a HRBP, you must be able to speak to power, using fact, using data, trying to prevent the business from loss. Because for me, what makes a good HR business partner is, the number of lawsuits. You can't be an effective HR business partner when you have like so many lawsuits piling up because most times why most employees sue, because that issue was not addressed properly from the point of HR with the line manager. So as HR business partners, with strong people advocates to ensure that our business is properly protected from lawsuits, from unwanted turnover, from disgruntled employees, because having disgruntled employees or employees that are very unhappy, they can wreak a lot of havoc to the business. The fourth skill that's required, excellent stakeholder management. As a HR business partner or as a HR person, are your business leaders confident in you? Do they have trust in you? Do they trust you that whatever decision you are taking is for the good of the business? There's sometimes I've seen so many people make some decision and it's based off of selfish interest. So do your business leaders trust you that whatever decision, whatever thing you are doing is in line with the business? Do you understand the terrain where you are? Sometimes we, as HR people, we try to run away from playing the politics of the organization. Every place has its own politics, and as HR business, you should understand the political landscape. You must be aware of what is going on in the organization. You must be fully aware of the stakeholders, the people that matters in quote in the organization, the people that are highly influential in the organization, and should be able to align properly and build a good relationship with them, build trust and confidence of your leaders. That's one key thing to success as a HR business partner. Once your leaders have trust and confidence in you, whatever thing they are doing on the table, it's good. I think they are approving it. They'll be giving you their support and their backing. How do we build trust and confidence? By constantly being available for them. Because sometimes most people, when they call us as HRBPs, we always form we are too busy, or we are feeling so higher minds, and they don't get to feel connected with us as HR business partners. As HRB people, our team, our people that we work with in the company should be able to feel connected to us, should be able to come to us, should be able to even discuss their fears and then discuss even business challenges with us. We should be interested in the focus on what's on the focus areas of the various business leaders. The fifth skill is digital integration. So as HR business partner, we should be able to leverage technology in everything that we do. There's now so many tech now available for different things. The new one that came out, ChatGPT, so I know some people are very afraid that it might take their role, but I see that it can support me to be more effective in my role. I don't need to start cracking my head on different things. I can, Pascal just type what I need there, and it can help me to be more effective and efficient in my role instead of seeing the tech as a challenge or seeing tech as a competition for you. See tech as a partner. Leverage technology to improve your overall employee experience. Why do I have to go through a strenuous recruitment and onboarding process when I can do everything virtually, when I can do everything remotely and have a very good and pleasant onboarding experience? Why do I have to stress myself taking papers to fill leave forms when I can create an effective leave software, that can help me manage my leave for my people? Why do I have to, stress myself using manual payroll system when there are various and numerous technologies to help me with my payroll? So as HR people, we should be in love with technology. We should see technology as a partner and not as a competition. So these are the various skills that are required to have as to succeed as a HR partner. Data literacy, you must love data. Business acumen, because you must have a very good and sound knowledge of your business that you operate. You must understand the risks, you must understand your competitions, you must understand what makes your business tick, in the industry it finds itself. You must be a people advocate. You must have excellent stakeholder management. You must know your leaders. You must have a good rapport with them. They must be able to, you must be able to be a person that they can always call on, that someone that they can always, listen to, that someone that they can always seek their advice on, someone that they trust, and have great confidence in. And then you must be able to leverage on technology. You must see technology as your partner and not as a competition. So the woes of a HR business partner. So the HRBP of the future is someone that's preparing for the future of work, someone who's a coach and a consultant, someone who's putting the business acumen to work. They are building a competitive organization. You're empowering your leaders. You're using data to influence decision, not emotional decision making. You're strengthening your company culture and employee experience. So let me just briefly explain these various roles and break it down for us all. So being a coach and a consultant, a HR business partner is it's like a consultant. So that means you must have a good experience, a good knowledge of HR, and a good knowledge of the business that you're operating, first and foremost. Being an effective coach and a consultant at HRBP involves you understanding your current challenges, you understand your future challenges of people in the organization, and you're able to, think ahead and then plan initiative, come up with strategies, having the end users in mind at every point in time. You have a knowledge of, whatever challenge each line managers are having around their people, and you're able to communicate effectively with key stakeholders. Communication is a great skill for us to have as HRB, being able to, make people understand, pass on your thoughts, and ideas effectively, to be able to provide advice, coaching to line managers on how to, on their various people challenges and even their business challenges. Over time, in the course of my work as a HR business partner for various places where I've worked, and I've been able to work with line managers to turn around employees' behavior and attitude towards work. I've had line managers who had difficult employees who would not want to, give in their best, employees who have been laid back. I've been able to walk them through that journey of transforming, being a coach, being a consultant, having with my own experience, of our HR knowledge and using our processes and code. So, as a HR business partner, you should be able to have good processes in the business that can able to address various employees' challenges, from performance to every other challenge that an employee should have. Make use of the process and your policies to address all those issues. putting your business acumen to work. So your second role as as HRBP is to put your business acumen to work. So a business acumen, having business acumen is indispensable competency for every HR professional. It represents the keenness and quickness in understanding and dealing with a business risk and opportunity in a way that leads to good outcomes. So let's say your business has a challenge of, okay, so recently I was we were tasked to come up with ideas for various business challenge, cost management and all that. So I was able to come up, I was assigned to come up with how can we solve a challenge of cost management. So let's say I didn't have a good idea of of business, I wouldn't be able to come up with the various ideas which I came up with for us to address and solve issues of excessive spending, of managing our costs in the business. So because I'd already immersed myself in the business, I've gotten to understand all the leakages, all the loopholes everywhere which we have been overspent, or areas where we could cut costs, and minimize costs, and or I probably have like a a cheaper alternative option to that. So I won't be able to come up with such ideas if I had not gotten to understand the business I was in. No, HRBPs should be aware of, the market value of the business, should be aware of the competitors. With that, you'll be able to know, even it will help you in every aspect, in everything you're doing. When you're introducing policies, or you're introducing retention plans, you're able to know what your competitors are doing and how to attract the best talents to your business. Another role of HRBP is to build a competitive organization. So every employee is looking for somewhere, a place where, where they all want to work with a good brand. They all want to work with a top leader in whatever industry. As HRBP, it is our role, to build that kind of organization where employees would want to work in. And how do we build a competitive workplace? By ensuring that our employees are trained, we are involved in the training and the development of our people. We're able to make them to give in their best. I know employees stay where they feel that their value is recognized, where they feel important, where they feel that where their opinion counts. So we need to build that kind of environment, and it's our role as HRBP to build that competitive organization for our business. We also empower leaders. Most times I see most HR people, okay, most time managers, they want to throw everything to HR. My staff did not come to work today, HR. My staff is sick, HR. My staff is having poor issues, HR. But HRBPs, we should empower business leaders. We should train them on how to make decisions, on how to handle their employee issues. The line managers are first HRs of each employee for the HR of the organization. So we should be able to train and empower line managers. I know some HR people like to hold on to, they like to have that power, that feel that of that okay, everything comes to me. I'm the alpha and omega in this company. So every issue must come to my table. With that, you won't be able to have time to think of strategic initiative for the business because you are very engrossed in day-to-day transactional activity. Why those things can be taken care of by the line managers? Take, for example, an employee doesn't come to work today. The line manager is the first person that should be able to reach out to the employee to ask what the issues are, even before it comes to HR. But in most cases, they always want us to handle the whole employee emergencies. So, but we should empower our business leaders. We should train them, empower them to make their own decision and handle their own employee issues. Then HR would now step in, after at a higher level to would not step in when that issue when line manager has tried and then could not effectively handle that issue. Our roles as HR business partner also involve making use of data to influence decisions. Data is crucial to know if you're on the right track. If you want to know if if a, if a decision you want to make is right, just pull out the data around that thing and run it, and you would see that, and you would see if what you're about to do is right, or wrong. You have to make use of data to make whatever decisions. We, we should avoid making emotional decisions. We should make more data-driven decisions. Our role as HIP also involves strengthening company culture and employee experience. HIP are the ones to enforce and ensure that companies' policies and processes are followed, and ensure that the company's culture, the company's values, is being passed down and communicated appropriately to all employees, and ensure that all employees have a good employee experience from the point of onboarding, even to the point of management, even to when they are exiting the business. So we focus on people and how culture can achieve organizational goals. Right? As HR, we should continuously work to improve our overall employee experience, because once an employee has had a good employee experience throughout his lifespan in that place, even when he leaves that organization, he becomes an ambassador of that place. I've seen some employees, when they leave somewhere, they said, even if my enemy wants to go and work there, that they will not even allow the enemy to go and work in terms of because because they had a very bad employee experience. But in places where the experience, was great, the experience was nice, even at the point of when they were exiting the business, they still had a good experience. They would be good ambassadors of that brand, and they would even be able to refer quality candidates to that organization. So let's move on to the area of focus for HR business. So as HRBPs, what areas should we focus on? So it's not just there are key areas of the business whereby when we focus on them, we're able to see key impacts in the organization. Number one is our HR processes. As HR business partner, because of our experience with the business and our experience with people and our experience with our HR in our human resources work, we're able to identify challenges. We're able to see and even foresee challenges in most cases. We're able to see what kind of policies can be used to address certain things, because some things can be happening in a place because there's no set processes guiding that organization or guiding that activity. But a key focus for integrity is to have control over our processes. We should know our policies, know our processes, know that when something is happening on the spot and they're asking you as HRP, what does company policy say about that? They are blank, or you don't know what to say. You should be able to understand your policies and be able to constantly communicate them. You must be able to, from the policies, and be able to constantly review them in line with global changes. Our second key area of focus is staff development and coaching. This should be, once you develop your staff and you constantly and you constantly train them and you're interested in their development, they stay longer. We should make sure that the way um an an employee starts with your workplace should not be the same way they leave. There should be like a difference in their group. There should be a difference. They should have, you should be interested in ensuring that they are constantly undergoing training, they're constantly being developed on the job trainings, virtual trainings, even trainings outside the job, both technical trainings, skills, and soft skill trainings, you know. Employees stay where they are constantly being developed. I've heard some employees say, okay, they're leaving a place. Why are you leaving? I feel like I'm at the same place that I've been when I joined. There's no value that added to me. I've not learned anything. I feel like I'm the one that is giving back. That's I've heard so many employees say that, and that's why they want to leave. But that should not be the case if HRBP has been focused on staff development and coaching. We should be able to coach staff to a transformational point, to be able to, and they're seeing that okay, their lives are transformed. And when your staff are constantly being developed, that would show in the overall bottom line of the business. That would show in the productivity, and that would show in the quality of products, in the quality of, you know, of output which your workplace is giving, and overall the company would experience great value. And that key area of focus is close collaboration with executive management. So as HRBPs, our close rapport should be with senior management, with business leaders. You know, we are seen as the business leaders' direct contact for everything. We are seen as their trusted advisor. So we have to build that close rapport with the executive management. It should be it's not always a nice thing where the CEO is trying to think of an important business decision to make. He calls CFO, he calls head of operations, and HR is nowhere to be found on that table because we've not aligned that so properly. It's not shown that we have business knowledge, not shown that we're adding value to the business. We've not shown that we're interested in the business, you know. So our key focus should be building a close collaboration with the executive management. How do we do that? We use big use of data. So they're seeing that what you're saying is not just because you want to say it, or not because you just feel like saying it, or because it's just, you know, I just feel like it's no, because they're seeing that it's data that is driving whatever, even down to I want to change our region. This should be able to drive a decision on why the business should commit more funds to change the regime or to introducing another kind of employee welfare activity. You should be able to use data, you know, to drive such decision-making process. Taking control of change processes. HRBPs are change agents. HRBPs are the drivers of change. When this is undergoing change, either a change in technology or change in processes or change in whatever, the HRBPs are the ones that drive that process. We ensure that we get the vision of the leaders, ensure that the managers that we are working in line with the line managers to drive that process, and ensure that the employees also are also seeing to it that everything is properly communicated from the top to the bottom to ensure that okay, that team management process is properly like is smooth. You know, we are the ones that will communicate. I remember when in one of my workplaces, we had to move from to a new HRIS system. We had to move from paper to technology, and it was our responsibility as HRBP to constantly communicate. Okay, you're about to introduce this, and then even onboarding people into, and then helping people to also make use of the new software, teaching them onboarding them, training them in what are responsibilities to drive that. So if as as HR people, if we're not involved, in ensuring that people are synced into that system, that people are educated, are trained, and then are on board, and then we guide them, we handhold them through that process. If we didn't do that, the whole money that was spent in developing that technology would go to it, because at the end of the day, you will see people not making use of the tech, and the money invested in it would have gone into waste. So part of our focus is ensuring that our change processes, is we drive that change process. Another area of focus is employer branding. As HRBPs, we are the ones to communicate our company's corporate culture. We bring it to life. Whatever is the vision, the culture, whatever culture that the employee that the business leader has in mind for the whole company to have, is our duty to communicate that company's culture, and to ensure that that culture is brought to life, and ensure that it supports growth. And when you have a good employer branding as a company, you're able to attract quality talents, you're able to attract good talents, and then your talents would experience a good candidate and employee experience. So building an employer branding is not just up to the task of the marketing or branding team. HR business partners, I always say that I see myself as a brand ambassador of my brand. I see myself as a brand manager of my brand, even as HR person, because it is what we are, the face, like we are the customer service officer of the business. So we are the face of the brand. We are the people, we are the first point of contact of the brand. So whatever culture that that the company wants to portray, or the company wants to build, we are the ones that will bring it to them and ensure that that this culture supports growth of the employees. So how do we assess our performance as HR business partners? So as to effectively assess our performance, you can make use of the input and output a metric. So the input matrix refers to behaviors and activities carried out. So let's for example, I want to update sugar policies every quarter, or I want to introduce one employee engagement activity every quarter, or we can make use of output metric. So let's say to reduce LTO by 10%, and to increase number of women in management by 10%. So these are, we can combine those two metrics to efficiently measure our roles, to effectively measure how well we've done as HR business partners. So I'll just discuss a few of those metrics. So in employee engagement, we can measure ourselves by how engaged our employees are by doing the employee net promoter score. So that employee net promoter score, ENPS, involves answering some questions that you ask, and that would show how engaged the employee is with his or her workplace. So it's like a rating by 1 to 10, and then those that score very high, 9 to 10, they're the most engaged employees. Those that score 7 to 8, they're like, okay, I'm engaged, but they're not that engaged. And then those that score 0 to 6 on the question, are those ones they're just spirit that's wrong. It's just a point that is there with you, and you would not want to bring anybody into the company or so. When you do this kind of employee engagement ratings yourself, you will see how effective your activities has been as HR business partner. When you have a very high rating, like 30 and above, you know that, okay, I'm doing very well as HR business partner. Whatever thing I'm implementing as a HR business partner, my policies and processes, employees are, are in line with it and they're happy with it. But once you have a low rating, okay, you'll be able to identify, you would also know that, okay, maybe what I'm doing, I need to go and replan. I need to go and come up with maybe a better way of doing that, so that I can have more engaged employees. So an example of an employee engagement goal that we can set for ourselves as HR business partner, it can be either to boost employee engagement by 8% of the next year, or we can decide to conduct surveys. So this can also be a goal for us as HR business partners. And that matrix is in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. So DEIB matrix are a good way to ensure the effectiveness of HRBP. How diversified is your workplace? How equitable is it? How inclusive is it? Do your employees have a sense of belonging? Whatever race, whatever tribe, whatever nation they are from, whatever gender, do they have a sense of belonging? Are you diversified in your workplace? So this kind of matrix helps us as HRBP to know if we are, if we are very diversified and very inclusive in our policies, and if you are very, and also in our processes. So being a diverse and there's no, because in our current world now, every organization needs to have a bit of diversity, equity. You need to show that you are diverse, you're equitable, you are inclusive, and you have a belonging. You can't just have a team of leadership that is all male and no female, and female are less. That will show you that would, like, we send some bad signals to some candidates, But once candidates are seeing your work, your organization as a place where, even though I'm a woman, or probably I'm from this tribe, but the major workforce from here, I can still thrive. I can still go up the ladder. So an example of a diversity and equity, inclusion, and belonging goal can be to increase the share of women in management by 10% in the next 3 years. So this can be a goal for you as a HR. So let's say you set this goal now as a HRBP for you to achieve in your business. How would you work towards achieving this goal? Number one, you can decide, okay, so let's say currently your ratio of women to men in management is probably 70-30, and you say you want to bring it up to probably 60-40 or 50-50. How would you achieve that? You achieve that by now deliberately bringing up women, or deliberately ensuring that. So let's ensuring that probably your recruitment style is more tilted to ensuring that more women are brought into the system, or having specified kind of trainings or development programs or mentorship programs for women, so that they can now be better equipped to be in management. You can also decide that you want to reduce the gender pay gap. So all these goals require some level of intentionality into it. And that key matrix for us as HRBP is well-being matrix. So this well-being matrix is kind of like, it's somehow difficult to assess, but it can be assessed by keeping track of your sick leave days, of your absenteeism, of your healthcare expense. That would show you, your the level of your employee well-being, because employee well-being, it impacts performance and productivity. Because if people having employees calling in sick once every week, twice every month, it affects the productivity of the business. So, but once you're able to, have track the sick leave days, absenteeism, you'll be able to know if your wellness programs, which you have introduced, are doing well, or if there's a need to start a wellness program. So let's say you have you've had maybe you have you go through your healthcare expense and you see a lot of your staff, part of their treatments is they've been seeing a cardiologist, or or they're being treated majorly for high BP. You know that there's an issue going on in your work plan, that the cracks that you need to address. So you can do that by introducing a wellness program, like a lifestyle program. I know at one of my workplaces, we had to introduce a fitness program. So once once a week, every Friday, we come out and then we do workouts, aerobics, and that really helps, for those of us that had weight challenges. We even started like a weight challenge, a weight loss challenge, where where people that had weight issues, they got on that challenge and then drop weight, and that thing kind of like connects employees to the company. It makes them more engaged, makes them, they want to come to work more, they want to, and um they fall more in love with that place, because as an employer, you're now going way beyond my work and and then becoming more interested in my personal well-being. So an example of a well-being goal that we can set as HRBPs can be to start a wellness program, covering all employees, or conduct workshops on mindfulness or well-being, or mental health. We can start to take a mental health as an issue and address it, have constant workshop, have constant trainings, and book your employees to see a therapist, maybe every quarter or twice a year. And that matrix that we can use to measure ourselves, our retention rate. So retention rate for us in this current time, for us, very key as HR VPs. So retention rate refers to the percentage of employees that stayed with the business during a given period. And this is normally measured annually. So this matrix, it helps us to understand, how many people are staying back with us. So let's say we started the year with 500. How many of those 500 stayed with us at the end of the year by December? And that will let us know, how well we are doing as a workplace, what is why our employees leaving us, or what's keeping our employees. So if our retention rate is high, it shows that whatever thing we are doing, whatever initiatives, whatever employee engagement activities that we are doing, be it our compensation, be it our benefits, be it our trainings, our reward system, we show that whatever thing we are doing, or our wellness program, we show that whatever thing we are doing has a positive impact to the company. And if this is low, that will give us a chance to revamp, to replan our strategy. So the retention rate formula is number of employees who were employed under the period, and then number of employees. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Chidiogo. That was an excellent presentation. We have a few questions in the chat box. You may just want to take a look at them and respond.
Let me stop sharing.
Even if you have spoken to some of the issues, you can just provide a recap. You can also stop sharing so that you can focus on the chat box. Also, if anyone would like to ask a question or share experience or thoughts, kindly raise up your hand. We'll enable you to speak. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so
If you could also speak up a little more. Some people
Couldn't hear me.
yes, they say you're speaking like someone from Canada. So we have a question here from Mr. Deyemi Ajayi, a couple of questions. One of them is, what are the reports that HRBP should prepare on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual basis? Maybe we take it one by one. Or should I read all these questions? Okay, let me go ahead. Okay, so the first thing is the reporting, what the types of reports. The other question is, what are the key challenges of HRBPs? The third and final question from him is, do experience of HRBP change from industry to industry?
Okay, so personally, the experience with HRBP, does it really change? I don't, it not totally, because it's still the same HR knowledge that you need in all in. So what just changes understanding that business that you're in, because businesses differ, even if they might be in the same industry, but their operating models and styles can be different. So you need to understand that particular business and their particular operating model. So you can be in the same retail industry, but the way business A, where you've worked in, operates different from the way business B operates. And you know, let's say you're working in a company that is run by shareholders, and then you move to an owner-managed business. You know, the way they operate is different. So you need to understand the way each one operates. But your experience of HRBP doesn't really change totally, because there's still transferable knowledge that you could use from the different industries. But the only thing that would be different is the operating models of the business where you're in. So key challenges of HRBP is that, because currently is that most business leaders, you know, in Nigeria are yet to come to see HR as their partner. They're yet to come to value HR as more than just being the normal HR that they've always known. So at HRBP, we always face that challenge of trying to, let's say, prove ourselves that we are more than just the transactional HR that, you know, that people have come to grow up to know, you know, because, you know, HRBP, our current challenge now we're facing is, you know, getting to have good talents. You know, we are faced with the current challenge of people trying to run away from the country, leave the country. So we are faced with the scarcity of talent, of the right fits, you know, of our business, of our current business needs. So those are the key challenges that we face currently as HR business partner. Labor turnover rates is a very key challenge for us, because the employees, either they're leaving the country or they're moving from, you know, they're having to stay for a shorter period of time at a particular workplace. Gone are the days where we have employees staying for 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Now employees stay for 6 months, 1 year, you know, and they're done and they're moving on to the next place. So those are key things that we face currently at HRBP. So what are the reports that HRBP should prepare? Retention rate reports. Retention rate reports. And we should always prepare the dashboard, you know, number of leavers, number of joiners, so just remember there's a
productivity reports too.
Productivity report that, and then
all this revenue to employee, cost to employee,
I was just remember cost to employee,
maybe on a business by business cases. Yeah.
So, and then there's some specific reports that your business might require you to prepare, you know, at HR. So it's some specific kind of report. So it can be done by what your business leaders want to see. So that will determine the kind of report that that you want to do. Thank you.
So we have one more question, and perhaps we can call it a wrap. And the question is from Michael Odofin. He says, I would like to know the difference between HR business partner and strategic HR management. I would like to know the difference between HR business partner and strategic human resource management. Thank you.
Right. Strategic human resource management. That's strategic human. So once you start calling yourself a strategic human resource manager, you are more or less become like the HR business partner, because the HR business partner has moved away from just being transactional to becoming more strategic, meaning that whatever thing you are doing is in line with business strategy. You're not just running your own race, you are running in line with the business needs. So strategic human resource management and HR business partner, you are now more strategic in your human resource management activities, your administration, your recruitment activities, your onboarding activities, your reward system, everything that you do, you're not much. So there's no, if it's just HR management, there is a clear difference between those two, because that one is very administrative, it's very transactional. But HR business partner is more strategic, is more has more contacts with the business leaders, has more knowledge of the business than just the HR manager.
Okay, thank you so much. Just let me add one or two things here as we wrap up, that as an HR professional, it doesn't matter if your designation or nomenclature carries business partner. No matter what aspect of HR we are functioning, you need to wear that business partner cap and function effectively as such. It doesn't matter whether your title carries business partner or not. Even if you are HR executive, HR manager, there's the business partnering aspect of our assignment, which is critical and relevant to the organization and relevant to our own goal. To also weigh in on the strategic human resource aspect, especially as you grow in your career, the more senior you are in HR, the more strategic your support must be. Even when you are at the base level in HR, everybody from general manager to gate man, where our activities, both operational and tactical, is to achieve the strategic intentions and objectives of the organization. And so entry-level employees who think or align their thoughts and actions with the strategic will get noticed quickly, get pushed forward slightly faster, and you'll be able to profile solutions. And one of the things being strategic does for you, if you have 2-3 things to do, you will be able to prioritize to say which is the most important. If you don't have enough resources, for example, the limited resources, you'll be able to know what assignment, what project, what task to deploy the limited resources to. So whether your title carries strategic or not, please, we need to be strategic, and we need to continuously become strategic. And a lot of factors come in: our awareness of the business, our awareness of the industry, our awareness of the macro economy and even global economy, and what is happening in other sectors, okay? Because things may be happening in another sector, and before you say jack, may impact severely on your own sector and on your own business. So that will be my contribution. I want to thank you most sincerely, Chidogo, for this brilliant, excellent presentation. I would like to say that we'll bring you again. Think of a topic quickly, and we will agree a date very soon. This is a strategic business partnering request. Don't mind. Okay, we should catch up one of these days.
No problem, sir.
Thank you so much.
you.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Today is not very easy, but there is no bad day to learn. And that's why we decided to go ahead to learn today. Please, we wish you all the best, and we wish Nigeria the very best. And of course, the world in its entirety. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please, let's enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye for now.